The weight of expectations often been a heavy burden on the shoulders of Belgian players. Ranked first in the world for the last 3 years, the encumbrance of the golden generation tag has compounded pressure on the best set of players they've ever had. Defeat in the quarterfinals of the last Euros cost Mark Wilmots his job. The Red Devils underperformed in the World Cup semis against France. That still constitutes improvement for a country who habitually failed to qualify for tournaments for a generation. But anything less than a first major final since 1980 will be regarded as failure, notwithstanding a tough draw. The group was routine, but with the route to a Wembley date a fortnight tonight being Portugal, Italy, then probably France or Spain, they've got their work cut out. They line up with Courtois in goal, Alderweireld, Vertonghen and Vermaelen, Meunier, Tielemans, Witsel and Torgan Hazard, De Bruyne and Eden Hazard, and Lukaku.
I think the balance of that back three is going to be interesting, Jim. You know, leaving Boyata and Danea both out the team. Who plays in the middle? Will it be Vertonghen or Vermaelen? Vermaelen's 35 years of age, but he was excellent against Finland. So will it be Vertonghen or Vermaelen in the middle? That's going to be an interesting one for me.
Portugal haven't pulled up any trees. Ronaldo may be rewriting history, but the Portuguese have set their own record as the first defending champions ever to let in 4 in a single game. The slow group stage has become the norm. Remember, they didn't win a match in the group at Euro 2016 as they limped through in third, yet they were still crowned champions, but they had the ability to bore teams into submission then. Their defensive deficiencies might not allow that to happen now. They have Rui Patricio in goal, Dalo, Pepe, Ruben Dias and Guerrero, João Moutinho, João Palhinha and Renato Sanchez, Bernardo Silva, Ronaldo and Jota.
Well, so many star players, and obviously Ronaldo's the main man, but for me, Dalo's got a huge night ahead of him. He was on holiday when he got the call up with Cancelo being ruled out with COVID, and he's got to deal with Eden Hazard. So how he does that job tonight could be important in deciding this game.
Felix Brook from Germany is the referee. Marco Fritz is in Switzerland on VAR duty, a day that has already seen the VAR come to the fore. And before kick-off, players from both sides unite to take the knee, reminding everybody there is no room for racism. 2 of the top 5 in the world rankings, but one of them won't be in the last 8 in Europe. The defending champions yet to hit the high notes, but on a night of potential personal milestones, can they finally signpost their collective ability? Belgium in all red, Portugal in their change kit, nominally the away side tonight, of predominantly white, but with 2 hoops of the colours of the Portuguese flag. There's Belgium playing with a back 3, Portugal playing with a back 4, the Belgians kicking from left to right, and Holland alongside me, Jim Proudfoot, watching on from our studio monitors in London. The game taking place at Le Carrefour in Seville on another very warm night on the Spanish coast, and the playing surface has been talked about in great detail. The Portuguese press particularly picking holes in it, and it'll be interesting to see whether it does hold up. Belgium on the front foot from the off, trying to attack down the left flank with Eden Hazard laying it back for Kevin De Bruyne towards the edge of the penalty area. And De Bruyne, in the last day of his 20s, lays it to his left-hand side for Axel Witsel. Now out towards Torgan Hazard, into the feet of his older brother Eden in the midfield, and back for Witsel. Plenty of early possession for Belgium, and this is a match in which you would imagine that Belgium will dominate the ball. Alderweireld, first ball pinged forward towards Romelu Lukaku, handed away, and then on by Guerrero. Renato Sanchez sticking his foot in the midfield to try and calm things down for Portugal, and they've now got easy possession, albeit deep inside their own final third. We're 90 seconds in on TalkSport, and it is Belgium 0, Portugal 0.
What a game we've got in prospect. We've got the defending champions against the golden generation, the team that are ranked number 1 in the world. We're debating who's going to play in the middle of that back 3 for Belgium before the game started. It looks like Thomas Vermaelen's got the job. Jan Vertonghen perhaps a little bit more mobile on the wider side, because I think if you look at the way Belgium play, they try and push their wing-backs high up the pitch, so there might be space behind the wing-backs for Portugal to try and exploit. So I think they need that mobility down the side to try and deal with that.
Good 20-25 seconds of calm sideways movement from the Portuguese, just maintaining possession. Pepe finding Ruben Dias, and now down towards Guerrero. Rafael Guerrero, the French-born left-back, just works it back for the former Swansea man, Renato Sanchez. Now it's João Palhinha who's making his first start for his country. Long ball work forward from him and helped on into the penalty area, but Dallas touch couldn't find Bernardo Silva, and it goes all the way through to goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois. So much experience in this Belgian side, who have won the last 4 games. They're unbeaten in 12 since they lost to England at Wembley back in October. And in this tournament, if you include the qualifying games and the tournament itself, they've won 13 out of 13. Italy, the only other side to have a 100% record. But this, notwithstanding the fact that the Portuguese only finished 3rd in their group, will be far and away the stiffest examination they've had so far. Portugal able to advance down their right-hand side, have a throw midway inside the Belgian half. Yeah,
Roberto Martinez has gone with an experienced team, hasn't he? And Tielemans, the youngest in that side, at 24 in the middle of the pitch. Everyone else 28 and over. And you said it, 85 caps is the average, but there's 5 players with over 100 caps.
Here's Bernardo Silva. I don't know for sure. I would imagine it is the most experienced lineup that Belgium have ever fielded in an international. And certainly by no means the youngest either.
Look at Belgium without the ball as well. You know, I talked in the build-up with Adrian Dolan actually of how they played against Brazil in the World Cup in 2018, and De Bruyne as a false 9, Lukaku out on the right, Hazard on the left. That looks like how we set it up actually at the start of this game as well.
Renato Sanchez works it back for Pepe, just something to try and find that element of surprise, just to give the Portuguese and Fernando Santos something to think about. Portugal, who, since Fernando Santos took charge, have lost only 5 of their 61 competitive internationals, which is a quite remarkable statistic. Ball is cleared by Rui Patricio. Forward through the midfield, well met by Thomas Vermaelen. And towards the right-hand touchline, João Moutinho's ball control was good, and he was just waiting for the challenge to come from Axel Witsel, who ultimately concedes the throw.
Big plus getting him back fit. He was touch and go about making this tournament. He has made it. Hazard and De Bruyne as well return to full fitness.
Yeah, without Witsel and without De Bruyne for the first game in the tournament. Bruno Fernandes playing it inside the penalty area here. Jota, first sight of goal, and he's pulled it some way wide. But that is the source of real encouragement as far as the Portuguese are concerned. That when they can break, and break quickly, they can get in between the lines. And Diogo Jota will be very disappointed that he didn't at least work Courtois there. Still 0-0.
Well, he should have done better. It's a brilliant run from Renato Sanchez in midfield. He's rolled his body past Yuri Tielemans and slipped in Jota. I talked about the space down the sides of the 3 centre-backs. That's exactly where Jota found him, in behind Thomas Meunier. In on goal, and he just pulled his shot wide of the post. He should have done better.
Belgium have it with Torgan Hazard out on the left-hand side. A crossfield pass from him, headed down by Thomas Meunier. And now the familiar blonde-haired figure of Kevin De Bruyne in the midfield for Belgium. And scored the winner against Denmark coming off the bench in the group stage. And he's worked it forward now for Tielemans, but doesn't score the winner in the cup final. Can't then find Meunier, and he goes out of play for a throw that Portugal have on the left-hand side. What do you make of Fernando Santos in major tournaments? Has tried to set his team up quite defensively, notwithstanding the fact that they've got Cristiano Ronaldo as an outlet up front, supplemented these days, of course, by Jota and Bernardo Silva either side of him. Is Lukaku trying to work it inside the area at the other end, looking for Eden Hazard, and Portugal will be able to bring it away with the impressive Ruben Dias, who's got it down the line, and Portugal win a throw. But Fernando Santos' default position is very pragmatic.
Yeah, that's the word I was about to use. He is a pragmatic manager, and it's a team that have got a good mentality. They are able to withstand pressure, and they've got quality on the counter to hurt teams when they get the opportunity. We've just seen it already. Diogo Jota making that run in behind the Belgian defence and getting his shot away. Should have done better. Ronaldo up top, always capable of scoring goals as well. And see the balance of that midfield as well, with Renato Sanchez, Palhinha and Moutinho. You know, there's an intensity, a real work rate about that midfield 3, and I think that's important for them tonight.
Meunier's got the ball in his hands, preparing to take a throw for Belgium in their all red kit with the yellow detailing. Ruben Dias can volley it away. Meunier then beaten to it by Jota, just made a back for Meunier. Play goes on, Alderweireld able to mop up and take it way back inside his own half. Belgium have won 10 of the last 12 games, and talk about the impressive record under Fernando Santos of Portugal. Martinez, 60th game in charge tonight at Belgium, and he's lost only 4. And one of those was the very first one against Spain back in 2016. Since then, defeat to France in the World Cup semi-final, to Switzerland in the first of the Nations League campaigns, and then to England in the Nations League this season. But that's it. And they've won nearly all of the rest. Tielemans has got it. A long right-footed ball forward from him. Meunier, always willing to get forward. He's got Lukaku in the middle as the only target. He might still be able to find him, just trying to deft little flick round towards the far post. It was too steep for Lukaku, but will be mopped up by Torgan Hazard, able to keep it alive. Witsel now to Tielemans, back for De Bruyne again in a central position, 20 yards outside the penalty area. Tielemans working it back to the left in towards Witsel. Plenty of patriotic Portuguese support in Seville tonight, so every sustained spell of Belgian possession, you would imagine, will be met with the kind of boos and whistles that you can hear now. Belgium still maintaining it with Vermaelen finding Alderweireld. Back 3 Belgium have, who all grew up together playing their club football in Amsterdam with Ajax. Now work forward to Eden Hazard in the midfield to Axel Witsel, and still Belgium have it, stringing the passes together. Portugal just shuffling across, very regimented and disciplined without the ball.
It's a good composed start from Belgium. They are passing the ball around nicely. The width is clearly coming from the 2 wing-backs, Meunier and Torgan Hazard. They're trying to force Bernardo Silva and Jota back, and it's almost a back 6 at times. And it's noticeable how Eden Hazard and De Bruyne are very narrow as well, trying to get the ball in the middle of the pitch.
9.5 gone at 0-0 on TalkSport. Italy play the winners. There's a right-footed shot from Eden Hazard from Lukaku's little roll into his path, skies over the bar, and goes out of play for a goal kick.
Well, before the game we talked about Romelu Lukaku with his back to goal and how that's improved. Eden Hazard, the football there from Belgium was slow, and all of a sudden there was a bit of pace into it from Eden Hazard. Rolled the ball round the corner into Lukaku, set it back for Hazard to have a shot, didn't quite get it right, but good play from Belgium, started well.
And we've got every game from the Euros here on the TalkSport network. Another double bill coming up tomorrow, Croatia against Spain and France against Switzerland at 5 and 8 respectively. You won't miss a kick from either game here on TalkSport. The day that the Dutch have already been dumped out of the tournament by the Czechs in Bucharest. The goals from Hollesch and Schick in the second half after Thijs de Ligt was sent off, at the say-so of the VAR, rightly. Matt and I for a handball on the edge of the penalty area, and the Dutch are out. And the Czechs through to the quarterfinals to face Denmark. Here's Guerrero. Winners of this one, as I say, face Italy in Munich on Friday. And we'll have that one for you live on TalkSport as well. Ball out of play for a throw. Should be taken on the Portuguese left-hand side. They're well inside their own half, with possession about 2/3, 1/3 in Belgium's favour at the moment. As Guerrero hurls it down the line, Ronaldo trying to flick it on. Brought down by Tielemans in the heart of the midfield, though, for Belgium. Witsel out to Jan Vertonghen, who's playing his club football these days in Portugal. For Benfica, talked about how much he's loving his time in Portugal, how much his kids are, but today he said in Lisbon they'll be proudly wearing their Red Devils shirts. Maybe to school tomorrow as well, depending on the result. He's in possession now, a couple of yards inside the Portuguese half. He's rolled forward into the feet of Torgan Hazard. And Vertonghen to De Bruyne again. De Bruyne away from his club teammate Bernardo Silva, back out to the Belgian left, where Torgan Hazard has a quick switch of play to bring Alderweireld into him. Long right-footed diagonal from him. They're switching the play whenever they can, right to left and back again. Eden Hazard has it now. The battle of the 2 number 10s as he's faced up by Bernardo Silva. Pulls it back for De Bruyne. Now to Witsel, to De Bruyne again. 11-12 minutes gone. 0-0 the score as Belgium continue to ask pertinent questions of the Portuguese back line, but having to be very patient in the build-up against a dogmatic Portuguese side.
They're dominating possession. I think there's been great movement actually and rotation about the front players. De Bruyne he wants to get on the ball all the time, and he's drifting into areas where he's difficult to pick up.
Witsel. That time it's Tielemans that just managed to split the lines. Out wide towards the right hand side for Meunier. Back it goes for Witsel again in the midfield. Now inside his own half of the centre circle for Marlon. Finds Alderweireld. Witsel just with the right boot on the whitewash of the centre circle as he received the ball. Finds Alderweireld. Rolled down the line for Meunier and cleared by Guerreiro. Out of play for a Belgian throw. Have scored in each of their last 33 games, Belgium, and nearly 100 in the process. Since that World Cup semi-final defeat, it is actually a national record for them. Never had that kind of scoring streak in their history before now. But it's a day for patience, a night where the conditions are such very warm that playing at a great tempo is going to be difficult. You've just got to make the most of the chances you can create. Renato Sanchez heads the ball away. Ronaldo can't get it to stick. Witsel then beats Renato Sanchez in the midfield. Dalot does well, starting in on the right-hand touchline for the Portuguese, and then Bernardo Silva skips away from the challenge of Witsel. He's got a hand in the back there by Hazard Jr. And Pepe, the long switch of play, the oldest outfield player in the tournament, brings Rafael Guerreiro into it. Pepe, the oldest player left in the tournament now that the Dutch have been eliminated, and Martin Stecklenburg's gone home. And Ruben Dias will play it. And for Pepe again, 119th cap for Portugal today, but still 60, remarkably 60, behind Cristiano Ronaldo. Pepe has the ball at his feet, and it has literally slowed down to walking pace now.
I think it's important they get a feel of the ball though. You know, they've had a lot of time without it. They've been on the back foot. Bernardo Silva and Jota have been in defensive positions. And I know it's a slow pace and they're playing it around at the back, but I just think it's important for their confidence that they get themselves into this game.
Long ball swept forward here by Pepe, and it'll be chased by Jota, who's offside anyway. And it's a free kick which will be taken by the Belgians, and they're with the edge of their own penalty area. I think that the pace, the conditions, the stakes being so high, the standard of the opposition being so good for both teams, everything points to this one potentially going the duration tonight. It wouldn't be a surprise for either of us, really, would it, if this went to extra time and maybe penalties?
No, we're talking about two quality sets of players, brilliant individual talent. That might be the difference. You know, there might be a bit of magic from someone. There's plenty of players capable of it, but I'm sure it will be a tight game, particularly the way that Portugal started. It is quite a defensive shape now. Having said that, 15 minutes into the game, 16 minutes into the game, although Belgium have dominated possession, it's Portugal who had the best chance.
Absolutely, and neither side have hit the target so far. Those are the thoughts of the former Republic of Ireland international World Cup midfielder Matt Holland, alongside me, Jim Bradford, watching on from our studio monitors in London. Adrian Durham in the chair tonight as Portugal work it down to the left flank from Diogo Jota. Back from him for Ronaldo. Ronaldo faced up by Tielemans, who just mirrored Ronaldo's dancing off the ball with the drop of the shoulder, firstly left foot and then right, just not allowing Ronaldo to commit Tielemans. Now play forward through the midfield. João Moutinho going, as a nasty clash between him and Witsel. A genuine attempt for both players to win the ball, and both have been hurt in the process.
Yeah, ouch. Difficult to know who was at fault, really. It was a heavy touch from Moutinho. Tried to make amends for it. And actually, he does catch Witsel. He won the ball, yes, played the ball forward, but his follow-through, the studs were showing right on the ankle of Witsel, who's only just returned from injury. I think Moutinho maybe went down just to try and sort of say it was a coming together rather than a foul by him.
Now he's convinced the referee because play's going to restart with a throw, but on seeing the replay, in fairness, was very unsure first time round, but on seeing the replay, it certainly seemed as though he was slightly out of control as he made the challenge, leading with that right foot, studs down on the top of Witsel's boot. But both players are okay, back on their feet and able to continue. João Moutinho continuing in that Bruno Fernandes position in the midfield, or what in the way the Portugal lineup is the Bruno Fernandes position anyway. There's a neat player to be able to bring off the bench, but that is the role in which he's been cast in the tournament recently. Second successive game without him in the starting lineup. Guerrero, 20 yards outside the penalty area, bringing it forward for Portugal. Back for João Palhinha, who really caught the eye in his second half cameo against the French the other night. And starting his first game for his country today, replacing Danilo in the engine room as the deepest of the three central midfielders for Portugal.
He was excellent against France, had an excellent season as well. He's actually struggled tonight to know who to press, when to press. Because of the movement of Belgium, he's not sure whether to go tight with Tielemans or Witsel, or should he be keeping an eye on Kevin De Bruyne and Hazard, who are drifting into those central areas. He's sort of caught between doing both jobs, and he's not doing either of them.
Well, Belgium pressed him then. When the ball went into his feet, there were three converging on him very quickly, and the free kick's gone against him actually for obstruction, because he got the ball down caught between his knees, and he was stopping any of the Belgian players playing it. So free kick goes Belgium's way. Indirect one. They sweep it forward very quickly down the left-hand touchline. An opportunity now to try and get around the back of the Portuguese back line. Turn back inside. Dano able to block the shot from Torgan Hazard, and then Portugal will try and bring it away again. Palhinha defending the same way. This time, though, the referee thought he was fouled, which is what put him on the deck in the first place. And it's a free kick which will be taken by the Portuguese on the edge of the penalty areas. 0-0 with 18 minutes gone.
He's made a bright start, Torgan Hazard, down that left-hand side, playing very high up against Dalot, and forcing Bernardo Silva to be more defensive as well. Certainly the two wing-backs of Belgium very high in their starting positions.
And 3 years at Chelsea, and was loaned out. I think a lot of people thought that he was only there really because his big brother was there just to keep him company, but you know, he's won nearly 40 caps for his country now, and 40 caps for a country who are number one in the world rankings, so by no means a make-weight these days. Scored the equaliser against Denmark earlier in the tournament, and he's the one player in the Belgian side, incidentally, who's on a yellow card. He'll miss the quarter-finals if he's booked tonight. Ruben Dias is in the same boat for Portugal. So Portuguese on the front foot here with Diogo Dalot. First time they played an international on Spanish soil in nearly 20 years. The last time they played Andorra and they beat them 7-1. That's a competitive international, should I say, in Spanish soil. High ball over the top here for Ronaldo, close to him being offside. Indeed, the flag does come up when he's lost possession, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Belgium on the edge of the box. They haven't been able to get him into the game as yet. That's no real surprise. It's often the way of it in Portuguese games, knowing that he has that ability on the few occasions that they will be able to find him. He can make something of it still.
Well, they haven't had a lot of the ball. They haven't been able to feed him with too much service. He's always going to be looking for that one in behind as well. I think particularly when he looks at who he's up against. He's thinking for Marlon, Alderweireld, for Tom. I've got the pace on all three of those still.
Hazard playing it back here for Axel Witsel. Witsel square for Toby Alderweireld, and out the line for Meunier. Meunier's first touch drags it back infield under pressure from Guerrero. Alderweireld on the right of the three centre-halves of the Belgians, goes all the way back for Thibaut Courtois. And out again, Courtois, who has now started Belgium's last 21 games at major tournaments. De Bruyne, well, the idea was right. Meunier's going to have to scamper after it. He has kept it in high, right-footed cross towards the edge of the area. Pepe has been able to head it away before Renato Sanchez is caught. Belgium just mixing it up there with a long diagonal over the top from De Bruyne. And Meunier sprinting after it, did well. All he could do really was hook it right-footed first time inside the box and hope, but Pepe was able to head it away.
That's the width though for Belgium, absolutely, the two wing-backs. De Bruyne, as soon as he picked it up, he's looking wide. And Meunier, again, his starting position was so high, in fact, probably higher than Lukaku.
Ronaldo just on the deck for a moment, got up, holding his face. It's okay, back on his feet, play goes on with Guerrero. Ronaldo just dropping into a more central position. Renato Sanchez from distance, and Courtois died just for the sake of it really, but kept his hands well within the trajectory of the shot, which he knew was going well wide. Just a little coming together involving Meunier. Ronaldo going down holding his face. There have been no contact with his face, but he was okay. He's back on his feet, and the play will restart with a goal kick. We're midway through the first half. Portugal turning possession over from that Thibaut Courtois goal kick. Right for the ball, clipped inside the box, headed away by Witsel on the corner of the 6-yard box, and then Coutinho trying to get the better of Eden Hazard, couldn't. And Belgium will be able to bring it clear with Meunier towards halfway. High, long diagonal, but We have the quality of De Bruyne's pass in a similar vein a couple of minutes ago, and that one just sails through for Rui Patricio.
Idea was right, because Dalot had been caught up the pitch. He was the one who had a cross at the other end of the pitch. There was a space.
There's Ronaldo, left-hand side of the penalty area. Take on Vermaelen, pulls it back for Diogo Jota. Now Renato Sanchez. And one little side, they didn't think he should go for another one. Palhinha, back for Sanchez again. And Rafael Guerreiro. Renato Sanchez with black hair tied behind him. Goes back for Palhinha, out towards Bernardo Silva now in the midfield for Portugal. And 0-0 with 23 gone.
He's another one who caught the eye against France. Renato Sanchez deserved the starts in this game as well. Added real intensity in that midfield.
Allen chipping it forward. Jota with a good run. Goes out towards the inside right this time. And it looked like handball by Vermaelen. And it'll be a free kick. Well, it's not like the delict handball in the earlier game against the Czech Republic, which Adam and Trevor described so well for you as he fell down behind him and just clawed back the ball with his left hand. Vermaelen knew exactly what he was doing there, but he wasn't in the same kind of dangerous area. There's no way that Felix Brook or the VAR could construe that to be a handball that denied an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. But what it has done, it's presented a chance now for Portugal from a set piece, and guess who's standing over it?
He hasn't placed the ball, but he's standing over it. Cristiano Ronaldo. He's taken his usual 4, 5, 6 steps back now, eyeing up the goal.
Well, I was going to say if he breaks the record, when he breaks the record, it might not be tonight, but when he breaks the record, it would be fitting if it's a goal of real quality in a high-profile game. He spotted the ball down, he strides back so purposefully. He wipes a bead of sweat from the right eyebrow and then dries his right hand on his shirt. Now he runs up, very straight delivery, right-footed through the wall, headed away, and then Palhinha heading it back in is saved by Courtois after the initial effort was beaten away. Boy, did he strike that firmly, but he couldn't quite get the direction to get it either side of the goalkeeper.
Well, it wasn't actually suiting a right footer. It was the wrong side of the goal for the right footer, so he went for power. He asked the question of Thibaut Courtois, who got down well and made a really good save. That was travelling.
First shot on target that either side have been able to create. Still 0-0, 25 gone. Dutch 0, the Czech Republic 2 earlier today. Italy and Denmark already through. Czechs through as well. Will it be Belgium or Portugal joining? And who will it be tomorrow? You'll find out with us. Croatia against Spain, followed by France against Switzerland, and 5 and 8 respectively here on TalkSport. Cristiano Ronaldo waits between 2 of the 3 Belgian centre-halves. The ball is on the left-hand side. Work back just to Palhinha. Palhinha with an excellent range of passing on him as well. Very tall, ball-playing, defensive-minded midfielder. Back from here to Ruben Dias. Now towards Renato Sanchez. Renato Sanchez, who was a fixture in the Portuguese side from a very young age, and just took a couple of steps back in his career to take 3 forward, but certainly beginning to fulfill the potential now. French league winner with Lille this season, Renato Sanchez, now played out towards the Portuguese right-hand touchline. With the corner of the penalty area, Bernardo Silva has worked it back. Diogo Dalot also making his first start for his country today, finding Palhinha, whose first time ball forward went straight to a red shirt, but they've given it away straight away. How it's played in towards Diogo Jota, left-hand side of the penalty area. Back for Guerreiro, couldn't get the ball out from underneath his feet, wanted it on his left to try and get a shot in. The chance had quickly gone. They've still got possession, but they've had to come back out again. Now right-footed high ball in from Dalot, and coming towards the far post, he's sent away by Muniac. Back down toward Rafael Guerreiro. Palhinha, right-footed effort way over the bar and halfway back the running track towards the supporters. But Portugal have had a good 6 or 7 minute spell. It's 0-0 on the TalkSport.
They have. They've reacted well because it was a dominant start from Belgium. First 15 minutes they had almost total control of the ball. Portugal have really grown into the game. Created the best 2 chances. Jota, the Ronaldo free kick, and actually we've just seen a replay of it. It was bending right away from Thibaut Courtois, who had to stretch to his right-hand side to make the save. Yes, he had power on it, but it also had plenty of swerve as well.
And it just, and I mean just, flicked the arm of Alderweireld on the way through. But that did see it deviate away from Courtois, which made it an even better save, really. Would have been disappointed had it beaten him, but still needed saving and beating away from a dangerous area. Out of Varane. Heads the ball down on the edge of his own box now to Vertonghen, who's really stuck his left foot through that. That's a high up and under that's gone 75, 80 yards upfield, and Pepe's got all the time in the world to mop it up at the back. And Belgium, having dominated the early proceedings but not really been able to force a worthwhile attempt, and now struggling to get a foothold in the midfield battle where Portugal are outplaying them, but it remains 0-0 as the half-hour mark approaches.
About 5 minutes ago we said that Portugal struggled to get Ronaldo into the game. Now all of a sudden you see it having a bit more joy. We haven't seen Lukaku at the opposite end at all. He's a bit unsure of his position as well. He's starting out on the right-hand side, he's trying to go central, he hasn't got involved in the game in any way, shape or form, and that must really, well, you can see it's frustrating him.
Ruben Dias delighted to be playing up against Kevin De Bruyne rather than Lukaku. You would imagine a very different type of battle, but De Bruyne, a man whose idiosyncrasies he knows so well from Manchester City training sessions. Dalot spent the season on loan at AC Milan from Manchester United. Plays it down towards the left-hand side with Guerrero, heads it back infield for Moutinho, and Dias and Pepe will play it back to their keeper. 0-0.
It's a different test for Dias against De Bruyne because of the way he plays the game. He doesn't stay up against him. He wants to drift Kevin De Bruyne, and that gives Dias a problem. What does he do? Does he go and follow him, leave a bit of space in behind? Does he stay where he is and let him drift into the midfield and say to one of his midfielders to go and pick him up? It's a bit more of a difficult task, really, I think, to mark him rather than Lukaku.
That's a poor clearance out from the back by Rui Patricio in towards Lukaku. No foul on Lukaku, who was dealt with by Paulinho, and Portugal again will work it forward down the left-hand side for Vermaelen. Still have a head start to be able to flick it away from Ronaldo and get it back to his keeper. I think the one thing in Ruben Dias' favour, though, is that familiarity, because if anybody's going to play centre-half against Kevin De Bruyne in this tournament, he probably fancies his chances more than most, because you would imagine that so many attack versus defence mining training sessions up under the watchful eyes of Pep Guardiola, he will have had the experience of knowing when just to drop off and what De Bruyne's movement is likely to be. The Martinez playbook is different than that of Guardiola's, of course, but at least it gives him half a yard's head start in that particular battle this time around. We played half an hour, it's 0-0. As Royce dropped very deep down towards the left-hand touchline this time. Dias is nowhere near him, and Pepe has fouled Hazard, and it's a free kick which will be taken on the Belgian left.
Yeah, and you can see with De Bruyne how deep he is going. I think as a centre-half, you prefer that physical contact. You know who you're up against. You know when they're going to make those runs in behind. When someone's drifting around, and you can't really get tight because you don't really want to go into midfield and leave that space in behind you. You're relying on one of your midfield players really to try and do the job for you. Lukaku tends to play up against you. I think you prefer that physical contact with him.
Eden Hazard sends the ball bouncing through the centre circle. Out of Varane to Meunier into the feet of Kevin De Bruyne. A little backheel flick from De Bruyne, knowing that he had defenders around him and he didn't find his man. Guerrero will be able to bring it forward. Important challenge from Vermaelen, got there ahead of Ronaldo. Now Belgium try and work it down the inside left channel for Lukaku, but Torgan Hazard can't find him. Portugal bring it away. Stretch for a moment there. Dalot, Ronaldo with the little blind flick that he loves to play. Back to Diogo Jota coming in from behind him. 31 gone, it's 0-0. Game taking place in Seville tonight on TalkSport, with João Moutinho in possession for Portugal, who are not only having more of the ball now, but they're having it, a preponderance of it, inside Belgian territory as well. In fact, possession up to 50-50, but still goals.
Yeah, and it's completely changed, because in the first 15 minutes I was talking about the wing-backs for Belgium and how high they were. Torgan Hazard and Meunier, their starting positions were right up the pitch. They were forcing Jota and Bernardo Silva back into a defensive position. Now it's Guerrero and Dalot who are getting forward more in this last 10-15 minutes. We're seeing them more in an attacking sense.
So what does Martinez need to do to try and redress the balance here?
Well, he's got to try and get the ball into Lukaku. I think station Lukaku through the middle. Try and get the ball into him. Try and get then Hazard, De Bruyne around him. Try and get them up the pitch a bit more, because at the moment they can't get a hold of the ball.
Penn playing it through the midfield, straight at Tielemans. Now Axel Witsel, but he's 10 yards inside his own half still. As he goes square for Tielemans again, and then back out to the Belgian left for Jan Vertonghen, brings it forward over the halfway line. De Bruyne just lurking between the lines, can pick up easy possession, works it to his left for Eden Hazard, back from him to Witsel. Witsel finding Toby Alderweireld fall from centre half. Now Belgium can get back on the front foot. Floodlights beginning to take effect. The shadows of the players visible on what's obviously a very warm and clear night in Seville. Now Felix Brook blows his whistle and points to an area where Toby Alderweireld has been fouled. There's a free kick to Belgium. We're taking their right back position. Diogo Jota trying to win the ball, just tripped him. It's a free kick to the Belgians, and again looking to work the width whenever they can. Get possession on the right hand side, but quickly try and switch it over to the left. Brought De Bruyne into the play. Hazard forward towards Lukaku. De Bruyne trying to ease it round the corner, but it was easily read by Guerrero. Renato Sanchez flicking it on. Tielemans catching Ronaldo. And it's a free kick to Portugal, but 15-20 yards inside their own half, It's 0-0, 12 minutes to go to half-time on TalkSport, and here's Matt Holland.
Tight, cagey affair. You said it's a game that could go all the way. Now you have to take into account last 16, the pressure. And it's different. This is a knockout stage. It's not the group stage where you can lose a game and still qualify to get into the last 16. Now it's do or die. Defeat and you're going home. And you see that the teams are both fearful of making mistakes.
Something that in many ways favours the less established nations, which more and more as Jota brings it forward. Left-footed piece of control from Bernardo Silva, just to roll the ball out from the studs of his left boot, but couldn't get himself into a shooting position in time. Ronaldo back for Renato Sanchez. Ronaldo again, now Bernardo Silva takes over. Sanchez on the right flank. Everybody watching the ball rather than the shapes that he's throwing as he makes his way towards the edge of the area, and eventually Portugal work it right back. You saw it yesterday with the way that Austria approached the game, the Uran at Wembley against Italy, that for the established teams, the stakes are high, and it's okay, one error here and we could get knocked out, and for the side that nobody gives any chance, you've got nothing to lose, almost a free hit. A game like this where they're both ranked in the top 5 in the world, they're both taking up the role of neither of them is taking up the role of the underdog, so both are being the more conservative, cagey approach.
And we saw it earlier today as well. The Netherlands, strong favourites actually against the Czech Republic, and what happened, I know they went down to 10 men and that was probably the difference, but even up until that point, it was still quite a cagey game, tight affair. I think that you're right, the teams that are perhaps less fancied, you can take the brakes off and you can have a bit of a go at the opposition.
Axel Witsel's lost it in the midfield. Renato Sanchez, nice ball to his right hand side from Ronaldo. João Moutinho wins it back very quickly after initially losing it, and then he's fouled by Jan Vertonghen. It's a free kick which Portugal will take out towards the right hand touchline.
I saw yesterday, you mentioned I was at Wembley yesterday to watch Italy-Austria. The difference in the end was the substitutes and the freshness maybe of Italy, because they were able to make as many changes as they did against Wales in their last group game. Looking at these two, I think Belgium had a couple of days extra to prepare, so longer the game goes on, will that play into their hands?
And the fact that they've been able to make 5 changes rather than 2 enforced ones today. In comes this Portugal free kick. Ronaldo going up for it, didn't get anything on. It's half cleared. Second ball won by Vermaelen. De Bruyne flicking it through the midfield. Just scuffed it a little bit, but it worked well. Meunier now for Lukaku. Lukaku trying to bulldoze his way through. Fellaini had a good pull of his shirt. Felix Brook didn't see it. And play goes on with Portugal then turning over possession. The Belgians are furious. Now, we had a much better angle from where we're looking at on our monitors than the referee did, but it was the clearest pull of the shirt from Fellaini as Lukaku got past him, and there was no way that Fellaini was going to be able to keep up with him, so he literally took matters into his own hands and he's got away with it. Belgium will bring it forward though again. Toby Alderweireld towards the edge of the penalty area, down towards Meunier. Meunier coming in off the right flank. Oh, it's a delightful little link up involving De Bruyne And it came back from Meunier, who scooped it with the outside of the right boot towards the top left-hand corner. But a little bit too much on it. And it's cleared the bar by about a foot. It's probably Belgium's best move of the game. But it remains 0-0 with 8 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, firstly in the 10th goal, isn't it, from Belgium? It's Meunier, the outside of the boot, trying to curl it. Lukaku's not happy because he thinks he should have played it into him, but I think Pepe had read that ball into Lukaku, so I'm not sure that was on. That run earlier as well from Lukaku, he went storming through it. His strength actually took him away from Paulinho, and the referee, I think, thought, well, play the advantage, he's got away, but it did hinder him, and it should have been a free kick to Belgium.
Portugal have got a free kick of their own now. I think it's put the German official widely regarded as one of the very best in the world. Renato Sanchez taking this free kick, working back inside his own half for Ruben Dias, who scored an own goal against Germany. This is a very different type of performance from Portugal tonight to that we saw against the Germans, where they were really struggling to deal with the width, particularly down the German left with Robin Gosens, and just kept getting ripped apart. But they've heeded the lessons, and Belgium's fullbacks haven't been able to cause them any problems here. As a right-footed shot comes in from Dallo, but he was offside as he'd made a long gallivanting run forward from right back. Took it down on his chest, didn't really hit it with any conviction, and the flag was correctly up against it.
That just highlights the adventure of Portugal. I'm not even sure he was offside as well, Dallo. I think he timed his run to absolute perfection. Big diagonal, but again, his starting position was really high up on that right-hand side. And I said they were quite conservative for fullbacks in the first 15 minutes for Portugal. They kept their shape, they invited a bit of pressure from Belgium. Belgium didn't create any chances. As the game's wearing on, they're starting to push bodies forward.
Lukaku trying to get on the end of a long ball that's played in his direction. Ruben Dias dealt with him, but Belgium win the seconds. Tielemans has got it now, good turn. Left-footed ball inside the penalty area, headed away by Paulinho, who's been everywhere. Another good performance from him to follow up from that he gave against France the other night. Then Guerreiro took a chance, having won it back brilliantly with a sliding challenge, snapped it towards the corner of his own penalty area. Renato Sanchez has done well, though, holding off the challenge of Witsel. That's excellent play, and he's got it forward down the right hand side. An opportunity for Bernardo Silva inside the area. Ronaldo waiting, shots at the far post, got free. Bernardo Silva got at the cross, but Belgians had enough bodies back to concede the first corner of the night. A brilliant play by Renato Sanchez, and Diogo Jota, if they could have found him, would have had a tap in.
Well, he's just getting back to his feet now, and he's getting congratulated by his teammates, because that was superb from Renato Sanchez. He's been excellent again tonight. The ball into it was such a difficult one to control. Took it down, beat De Bruyne, beat another two men. His pace got him away, and he fed Bernardo Silva down the right-hand side. An excellent run from him. Got his team from their own final third, their own box, to get a corner at the opposite end.
Which has been taken short to João Moutinho. Back for Bernardo Silva. Now towards Guerreiro, 25 yards out. Very optimistic. He didn't have the power, all the directions going wide. Cleared out towards Renato Sanchez. Dinks it back in. Witsel heads it away. Push on the edge of the area as the Tongan goes down. Vermaelen, I beg your pardon. It's a free kick, which will be taken by Belgium just on the edge of the D. 5 to go to half-time. It's Belgium 0, Portugal 0. Not 0-0 by any stretch of the imagination, even if real clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities have been at a premium. I think we've only had one shot on target between the two teams so far, which was the Ronaldo free kick. But it's high on intrigue, high on quality, even if it's low on goal-scoring chances. 0-0 on TalkSport.
An intriguing game, a really intriguing game between two evenly balanced teams, actually evenly matched. Different systems. At the moment, it's Portugal who you feel are just on top.
Courtois, very calm under pressure from Ronaldo. He's dribbled his way past him, kind of inside the 6-yard box, and knocked it away. A high left-footed ball forward, which find Lukaku doing well, backing in, trying to blame De Bruyne. De Bruyne couldn't flick it away from Guerreiro, but Meunier joins in now. Back from him for Hazard, right-footed shot. Oh! Screams into the bottom right-hand corner, and Belgium lead by a goal to 0. Torgan Hazard with a brilliant strike, and his first blood to Belgium. The side ranked number 1 in the world lead against the defending champions.
Well, in an evenly matched game, it can take a mistake or a piece of magic to break the deadlock. We've just seen a piece of magic. It's the first time we've seen Lukaku get a run down the channel. His hold-up play's superb. De Bruyne gets onto it, doesn't quite control it. It finds its way to Torgan Hazard on the left edge of the box. He cuts inside on his right foot. He arrows a shot past Patricio into the corner. That is absolutely top draw. It's got swerve, it's got bend, it drifts away from Patricio. Patricio will look at that again. It's maybe gone more in the middle of the goal than I thought, and he should have done it perhaps a bit better, but there was so much movement on that ball. It is a fantastic strike from Hazard. Belgium lead.
Well, the highest compliment you can play that goal is that his big brother at his best would have been proud of it. That is a brilliant strike, because he's only 20 yards out when he's hit it, but he started it because of the cut spin that he can impart on the ball. He started it very slightly swerving one way, and then like a Jimmy Anderson away swinger with an old ball, he's just all of a sudden reversed in towards the bottom right hand corner. And Patricio will be disappointed, but it is some strike. His second of the tournament, his 8th international goal of his career. And Belgium lead Ronaldo and co by a goal to nil with a couple of minutes to go to half-time. Here's Guerrero. Guerrero working it around the corner. Left-footed ball chipped inside the penalty area by Jota. Out as far as Dallo, Bernardo Silva, pulling it back towards Ronaldo. Witsel read it. And Belgium will be able to bring it away. Witsel going back inside his own penalty area then, and out to the left once more for Torgan Hazard, the goal scorer. Play back down towards his own corner flag, and Belgium win the throw. 1-0 to Belgium with 90 seconds to go in the first half.
And for 41 minutes, Rui Patricio had absolutely nothing to do. 41 minutes 30, he's got to pick the ball out the back of the net. An absolute rocket from Torgan Hazard. What a finish.
As you say, Belgium's first shot on target. And a second goal in 3 matches for Torgan Hazard. Now Kevin De Bruyne will be able to bring it forward. A really good challenge on it from Polina. Referee didn't agree. He said it was a foul, but play is allowed to go on with Belgium in possession. Good advantage play. Right hand side of the penalty area. Mounier's ball. It was really poor. Clearance was even worse, and it's shanked back towards his own goal, but caught by Rui Patricio. 1-0 to Belgium in the final minute of the first half, but De Bruyne still down injured after the challenge from Polina, who now receives a yellow card.
He lacked a bit of conviction, Mounier, at the opposite end. When he picked up possession inside the box, he was a bit unsure what to do, whether to go for goal himself, try and pick out Lukaku. That's what he did. And De Bruyne's run, I mean, just seeing it again now, he got a bit of the ball, didn't he? I mean, it's a tough one. He got a bit of De Bruyne as well, but the initial touch was on the ball. It's a strong challenge from him. The referee saw it as a free kick, and he's also seen it as a yellow card.
This is the first ever meeting of these two in a major tournament. Belgium have won 3 and lost 2 of the 8 competitive meetings between the two, which have all been in qualifying. But recently, Portugal have had the better of it. Belgium haven't won any of the last 5 meetings since a 1989 victory at Heysel in a qualifier for the 1990 World Cup. Jan Koelemans amongst the goal scorers that day. Just 1 minute to be added at the end of this first half, incidentally. That minute won't start until Kevin De Bruyne has finished receiving treatment and is back on his feet. Belgium leading. Work for Portugal to do. They've already conceded more goals in this Euros than they did when they won it in 2016. And they've got work to do again after Torgan Hazard's moment of brilliance that just left Rui Patricio grasping at fresh air with his left hand as the ball whistled past him. Belgium 1, Portugal 0.
Right, with some finish. Plenty of power, swerving effort. Patricio expected it to go to his right-hand side, took a step that way, tried to get back to his left, but couldn't. The ball was always just drifting away from him.
Well, not for the first time. Portugal will be looking at their talismanic number 7 and will be needing something from him. Belgium's own talismanic number 7 is back on his feet. Kevin De Bruyne is okay. Roberto Martinez was just having a word with the fourth official, Georgi Kabakov, about the legitimacy of the challenge. Yellow card was shown to João Palhinha. And the minute of stoppage time starts now with Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Portugal looking for a response before the break. Right for the ball in from Dalla, just too high for Ronaldo. It's headed away by Vermaelen. Alderweireld in there as well. Back in from Guerreiro. That one headed away by the retreating Vermaelen. He'll break on the edge of the box for Palhinha. And the pressure from Axel Witsel. He has sliced it high and wide.
He's annoyed with himself because it's sat up really nicely to get his strike away. Did superbly well to read it on the edge of the box, see the flight of the ball, set himself up. Ball sat up really nicely and he just got underneath it.
Well, Fernando Santos with work to do ahead of the 15 minutes coming up. The half-time interval is going to be absolutely crucial for Portugal, who you would feel over the first 40 minutes could rightly argue that they have been the better side. But in a tight game with very few chances, it's all about who can find a moment of quality. And it was Torgan Hazard who has done that. Half-time, it's the Red Devils that are delighted. They lead by a goal to nil. Adrian, thank you very much indeed. Torgan Hazard's goal is the difference between the two teams. Matt, you and I just chatting off air a few minutes ago. You made a great point about Thierry Henry racing over to Romelu Lukaku and intercepting him on his way off the field. Lukaku, prior to the goal going in, had cut a disconsolate figure. What are your thoughts on the way that Lukaku's been utilised tonight? And does, as the second half gets underway, Martinez need to change that now?
I would. I think he's cut such a frustrated figure. He's almost like he doesn't really know the position. He's not sure what he should be doing. Should he be on the right-hand side? Because without the ball, he's on the right. When they win the ball, it looks like he's through the middle. And he's sort of caught between two jobs. He's not really sure what he should be doing. And he was really frustrated. I would be tempted to say, look, go up against the two centre-backs. We'll get Hazard and De Bruyne in behind. Because they've just floated anyway. De Bruyne's gone where he wants. So has Hazard. Quite easily have two number 10s in behind Lukaku up top and give you a platform to work off as well.
So Portugal in the predominantly white kit. They have a couple of dark green and dark red hoops across the centre of the shirt. They're in possession, kicking from left to right. The start of this second half here on Talk Sport. The ball is with Diogo Dalot. He's laying it back for João Palhinha. And he in turn goes back towards halfway. Ruben Dias to Pepe. I'll run through the two teams for you in a moment. Neither have made any changes in personnel up to this point. Eden Hazard able to bring the ball forward, and he was caught by João Moutinho, and it'll be a free kick to Belgium. So the Belgians lining up Courtois in goal, Alderweireld, Vertonghen and Vermaelen, Meunier, Tielemans, Witsel and Torgan Hazard. And then Lukaku on the right, Eden Hazard on the left, and De Bruyne as a false nine, but those three have all been in close attendance. I just wonder whether Kevin De Bruyne isn't going to be able to continue. He picked up a bad knock at the end of the first half, caught by João Palhinha, who took the ball and took a bit of De Bruyne as well. And it looks as though, having come back out for the second half, he's very quickly ascertained that he's not going to be able to continue. Dries Mertens is being called back. This is a huge concern for Belgium.
He signalled straight away. When Hazard picked up the ball and was fouled in the middle of the pitch, the ball actually fell to De Bruyne. But he straight away, he just put his arm up as if to say, I can't go on, I'm done. I'm not sure what the injury is, but he's got a grimace on his face, and this is not good news. It looks like Mertens is going to come on his place. We're talking about Lukaku going back through the middle. Well, there he is. He's back in the middle now because Mertens will be on the right-hand side, so he gets his wish, but at the same time, you're losing such a quality player.
Well, he has had no luck at all in the big games. Broke his nose in the Champions League final, a fractured skull, and I don't know whether it's his knee or whether he's just slightly twisted his knee on the way down, having been caught by João Palhinha. But he's out of this one as well. Dries Mertens is on to replace him.
I think that's his ankle. I think he rolled his ankle.
Well, he's off, and Mertens is on to replace him. And you just wonder what the ramifications are for Belgium. Don't get me wrong, they've got to get through this game first, but then Italy coming up in Munich on Friday for the winners if it is Belgium. It's almost inconceivable to see that De Bruyne is going to be in a position to play that. Another free kick is given now. Bernardo Silva climbing high with Jan Vertonghen and fouling him. There's a free kick which will be taken by the Belgians. I gave you the Belgian side, although it has already changed. Portugal lining up Rui Patricio in goal. Dalot, Pepe, Ruben Dias and Guerrero. And João Palhinha, João Matinho, Renato Sanchez either side of him. Bernardo Silva, Ronaldo and Jota are the forward three. Bernardo Silva just laying it off here for Renato Sanchez, who his career certainly went sideways after being named as the young player of the tournament in Euro 2016, but in fact replicating those performances now. And he's gone down here under a challenge, and Felix Brock might have his work cut out because there's a little bit of niggle there in the opening 3 or 4 minutes of the second half. Challenges flying in from all comers.
Yeah, it's Tielemans on Renato Sanchez. Just a word rather than a yellow card, but it is competitive in the middle of the pitch, as always.
Here's Renato Sanchez trying to lay it off now, and it's knocked away easily by the Belgians through the midfield. Eden Hazard doing well, good quick feet from him, nudges it to the right of Dalot. Torgan Hazard, the goal scorer, takes over. Mertens making a run ahead of him. Lukaku as well. He slipped it in towards Mertens, but only towards him. It was João Palhinha who covered the ground to be able to get there first, and he'll get it upfield. Flicked on by Bernardo Silva, but only as far as Vertonghen, and then for Marlon, back for Alderweireld, who gets it away from Jota to play it out to the Belgian right back, and Meunier will bring it forward. It's a great ball. Lukaku just looked short of half a yard of pace there as he chased after it. Pepe was able to sweep up as his goalkeeper came out. Portugal got it right, but almost the perfect pass. Now Eden Hazard wins a good show of upper body strength to big Bernardo Silva in the midfield. João Matinho dived in, but Mertens flicked it away from him, and no contact was made between the two players. Fall from Vertonghen. Eden Hazard pulled back by Dalot. Free kick to Belgium, and it's going to be a yellow card for Diogo Dalot for an earlier infringement. The referee pointing to a different part of the pitch, and he's in the book with 5 gone second half. Belgium 1, Portugal 0. Jim Bradford and Matt Holland talking through the action from our studios in London. The game taking place in Seville. Belgium have a free kick inside Portuguese territory.
Eden Hazard started the second half a bit brighter. I think he impacted the game as much as he would like to have done in the first period, but he's got on the ball a lot more at the start of this second half. It was Hazard that got the opener, not that Hazard, the other Hazard. Torgan with a wonder strike.
Alderweireld playing it out to the Belgian right, a miscue that by Meunier. Got that all wrong as he just bowled off his weaker left foot. Portugal couldn't make the most of it. Belgium forced to retrace their steps down in the right back position. Alderweireld sticks his foot through to get it away. They are looking increasingly long now, trying to get Lukaku round the back of Pepe, who this time's able to mop up easily enough. Turns one way, then the other, enough just to deceive Lukaku, and he got it back to his goalkeeper Rui Patricio in the end.
Even now, actually, when they've lost the ball now, Belgium, Lukaku's gone out to that right-hand side, and Mertens through the middle. He's doing exactly what Kevin De Bruyne was in that whilst he was on the pitch. I'm really surprised. I mean, he doesn't want to do that out on that right-hand side, Lukaku. I know he's done it in the past and he's done it to good effect, but he wants to be through the middle and be the main man.
João Matinho chips it to his right for Dalot. Now back from Bernardo Silva in towards Matinho again in the midfield, making his 135th appearance for Portugal tonight. Dalot, high right-footed ball inside the penalty area. Good header away came from Meunier under pressure from Ronaldo. And Eden Hazard has done brilliantly. It's a high ball came down from the sky, and he watched it onto his right foot, and he definitely just flicked it past Dalot, round the other side of it, and then brought it under control, dropped his shoulder, works it back the other way through the midfield towards Meunier, and Belgium can bring it forward again, midway inside the Portuguese half. Crossfield ball didn't quite have the legs to get the Torgan Hazard. It's not the best playing surface, as we've been saying. And the Portuguese can mop up as Bernardo Silva works it forward, and it's cannon into Hazard and goes out of play for a goal kick. Belgium looking for what will be their 35th win in the last 42 games. And they're 38 minutes away from getting it, and a place in the quarterfinals against Italy in Munich on Friday, live on TalkSport. They lead 1-0.
Yeah, and I wonder how long it is actually before Fernando Santos goes to his bench and makes a change. And Bernardo Silva has been quiet on the right. So actually, Diogo Dalot has been more effective down the right in terms of products and getting the ball into the box. Bernardo Silva hasn't really got himself involved.
Ronaldo has it now. Played out to the Portuguese left and quickly worked back by left back Guerrero in towards Renato Sanchez. He's lost it, and again they try and turn. Mertens playing it forward towards Lukaku, who stood no chance of getting on the end of that, and he's turning and he's saying to Dries Mertens, come on, you need to provide me with better service. I need it into feet there rather than round the back of the back line. Portugal win it back. Here's Ronaldo from distance, right-footed howitzer, which is looped up off the Marlon, and then Alderweireld will clear it. It's smacked straight into Meunier, and it goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Portuguese left.
Yeah, more frustration from Romelu Lukaku. He's making a run, but he wants it to feet. And Ruben Dias has recognised that Lukaku's got pace, so he's dropped off him. He's 10 yards off him. The ball was there to play into the big man's front feet, and they decided to play it down the channel.
Pepe, Jota, now Guerrero for Matinho, and straight back again. Flicked by the smallest man on the pitch down to Diogo Dalot. The feet of Bernardo Silva. Double change is imminent as far as Portugal are concerned, and it's going to be Bruno Fernandes and Joao Felix who will be coming on. Here's Matinho into Ronaldo's feet. Couldn't get it under control before Vertonghen snaffled it away, and then Eden Hazard rights the first challenge, but not the second. Tielemans straight away told the referee what he thought of his officiating at not putting whistle to mouth. Now he will, and he's given a free kick Portugal's way out towards the right-hand touchline. But a double change is going to be made. Bruno Fernandes is coming on for the last 35 minutes, and also Joao Felix, who is still the third most expensive player of all time after this £114 million transfer to Atletico Madrid. Haven't seen him at all in this tournament so far. Andre Silva's the man that's been coming off the bench in games, but here's Joao Felix who will get the chance now. So Joao Felix for Joao Matinho, and Bernardo Silva is also off, and he's been replaced by Bruno Fernandes.
Well, they were the two players they expected to be replaced. As I said, Bernardo Silva has been quiet. Joao Matinho, vastly experienced, not quite got the legs that he once had. Bruno Fernandes was a change I advocated. Didn't see Joao Felix. I thought Andre Silva would have been the first cab off the rank.
So Portugal playing most of their attacking hand, because they're not a squad overrun with attacking options. They do still have Andre Silva, but Gonçalo Guedes on the bench today, player who scored the winner in the Nations League final against the Netherlands a couple of years ago. And so they've only got one more striker they can call upon, really. High ball forward through the middle, Ronaldo goes up for it. Because Ronaldo's only going to be withdrawn if he gets injured, as he was in the last final. High ball swept into long for him from Guerrero. Ronaldo applauding the intent and then demanding that a ball boy behind the goal throws the ball back very quickly, so that Thibaut Courtois is forced to take the goal kick as quickly as possible. But we're 11 minutes into the second half. It's Belgium 1, Portugal 0 on TalkSport.
And Portugal having more of it. They're starting to ask a few questions of Belgium. Belgium have looked reasonably comfortable at the start of the second period, not giving up too many chances. We'll see if the substitutes can have an impact. We saw Italy go to their bench, two subs both scoring against Austria. Fernando Santos will be hoping for something similar from his substitutes.
So Ronaldo still playing through the middle. Bruno Fernandes playing in a kind of a withdrawn number 10 role, almost as an 8. Joao Felix on the right-hand side of the attack.
Like-for-like replacements, really. Felix on the right instead of Bernardo Silva, and Bruno Fernandes in that midfield position where Matinho was playing. So in terms of the shape, nothing has changed.
Hazard plays the ball forward for Belgium. Looked like a foul on Eden Hazard, then they had a little nibble at Torgan as well. They're able to bring it away, no fouls, and Ronaldo's done really well, and he gets it back. Cristiano Ronaldo, left-footed ball flanked inside the penalty area, and on the turn, Jota with a snapshot that clears the bar, but not by much.
Well, that's the chance. He's had two glorious chances, Diogo Jota. Starting with Bruno Fernandes, he won a tackle in the middle of the pitch to feed Ronaldo. Ronaldo's got three men around him, does superbly, plays a little 1-2 and feeds the ball to Jota. Uses his body strength to shrug off Meunier. It sits up so nicely for him on the volley. He's only about 8 yards out. Gets too much on it, ends up a yard over the bar. Glorious chance for Portugal to equalise.
They have it again towards the edge of the penalty area. Renato Sanchez looking up, seeing where the options are. Most of them were in an offside position. And then as the ball comes back out of the penalty area, he's fouled Eden Hazard, and it's a free kick to Belgium.
He might be in trouble here as well, because he's just kicked the ball away in anger. He actually had a shot on goal after that free kick had been given. And he was superb in the first half, Renato Sanchez. He's been caught in possession a couple of times at the start of the second period. They need to get him on the ball, because he has been so impressive, but he's given the ball away he's trying to do a little bit too much actually at times in the middle of the field.
Portugal have made it through to at least the quarterfinals in each of the last 6 Euros. But to maintain that record, they have to find at least an equaliser in the next half hour or so. Quarterfinalists in 96, semi-finalists in 2000, still scratching their heads as well. They were runners-up in 2004 and didn't beat the Greeks in the final on home turf. And then again, quarterfinals, semi-finalists and finalists over the next 3 tournaments, only to win in 2016, beating France in a game that will never be described as a thriller, but one of the biggest victories, the biggest victory in Portuguese footballing history at Stade de France 5 years ago. But they need to find a way through here. Dries Mertens at the other end was offside as he's trying to get the better of Ruben Dias. Free kick is going to have to be taken from the right place, much to Portugal's fury, because they were in a hurry to get on with it. They took it from 15 yards further back than where the flag went up, but had to take it again. So 1-0 to Belgium. We played it out on TalkSport. Are the defending champions heading out?
And as things stand, they are. Torgan Hazard won the goal, separates them. They are pushing. They're starting to have a bit more possession, get up the pitch. Haven't created too many chances, haven't tested Thibaut Courtois. Diogo Jota had that glorious opportunity a few minutes ago.
Ronaldo into the feet of Renato Sanchez, back out towards Guerrero, faced up by Meunier. Renato Sanchez, right-footed ball, high side the air for Joao Felix, didn't get the power in the header he wanted, an easy save for Courtois, diving away to his left to collapse onto the ball.
Well, he shouldn't be winning that. The ball up against Vertonghen at the far post. Vertonghen got a little bit too close to the middle of the goal rather than marking his man. Got underneath the ball and Felix rose and won the header. Comfortable save though, not enough power on it.
Hasn't scored in his last 15 games for club and country, Joao Felix, which is not a sparkling record by any stretch of the imagination. 7 goals for Atletico Madrid as they won the Spanish League title this season. Here's Diogo Dalot. Portugal with the majority of possession, even more so in the second half than it was the first. In the second, their possession is in the low 60s. And they've had all 3 shots since half-time. Ronaldo playing it into the feet of Jota inside the penalty area. Back it goes for Guerrero. Guerrero to Cristiano Ronaldo. Always like a madman drawing red shirts towards the ball whenever it's at his feet. They go and defend in 2s and 3s, creating space elsewhere. There's a chance for Bruno Fernandes, and that's a looping effort after a slightly awkward bounce in front of him. It goes over the bar and out of play for a goal kick. So 1-0 to Belgium, but attempts on goal already for the 2 Portuguese substitutes.
Yeah, I said that you're looking for an impact from the bench, and they've had that. It definitely made a difference. Joao Felix has looked lively, got himself in some good positions. Bruno Fernandes disappointed in himself that he wasn't able to hit the target with the volley from outside the box. The danger for Portugal is that they're committing bodies forward, space on the counter for Belgium.
Dries Mertens driving Belgium forward here. Portugal have got their shape back behind the ball quickly enough this time. Bruno Fernandes will chase as he goes all the way back for Thomas Vermaelen, now Jan Vertonghen. Vertonghen 20 yards forward, Hazard drops short to meet it, finds his brother Torgan Hazard in towards Lukaku. Lukaku, left-footed effort, and that's cleared the bar as well, out of play for a goal kick. But that's Belgium's first shot of the second half, and it's taken 17 minutes in coming.
But it's a reminder of the quality that they've got in their lineup. Eden Hazard coming short, the awareness, the quality, a little flick round the corner to his brother, fed Lukaku, a little bit clumsy in terms of his hold-up play, but it bounced nicely for him. Caught it really sweetly, just over the bar.
Tomorrow it's Croatia against Spain, and then France against Switzerland. And don't forget Tuesday, small matter, of Germany against England, where the build-up starts at 3 from Wembley for that. Build-up tomorrow starting at 4 for the Croatia game with Adrian. And And Mark Saggers in the chair ahead of France against Switzerland tomorrow night, which is at 8 o'clock here. And we got it all covered for you on TalkSport, of course. Already today, the Netherlands crashing out of the hands of the Czech Republic with second half goals from Hollish and Schick. After Matthijs de Ligt was set off for a deliberate handball 10 minutes into the second half, it all unravelled from there for De Boer's men. They're out, Czechs are through, they've got Denmark in the quarter-finals. We'll have that one for you next weekend, and we'll have the winners of this against Italy in Munich on Friday. Here's Dalot in possession for Portugal. Still not panicking, to give them credit. Still just trying to work the angles the right way against the Belgian side that have an excellent defensive record. They've only conceded 1 goal in the 3.5 games of the tournament so far. João Felix playing it forward. It's just a flick back off the heels of Guerreiro, but Portugal will be able to come again. Once more it's with Felix, just 21 years of age. Out to the left-hand side where players concentrated for Portugal in the last few minutes. Ronaldo Sanchez receiving the ball from Palhinha. Right-footed ball clipped in. Ronaldo making the run, and again applauding the intent of the pass, but it was straight into the hands of Courtois. Ronaldo's passage to goal being marshalled by the top. And Torgan Hazard will mop up in the midfield now as Belgium bring it forward. And they are finding space when they can get forward, Belgium, into Portuguese territory. They've got probably a second and a half more in terms of time every time. As Eden Hazard is capitalising on that now. Bruno Fernandes coming back, forcing it out of play. It's a throw that will be taken by the Belgians on their left flank. They're in no hurry to take it. And we're 20 minutes into the second half on TalkSport with Martinez when still a goal of the good.
I think that's natural though, isn't it? Because Portugal are committing bodies forward now, and they have to. They're a goal behind. They're going out of the tournament. That there is going to be space for Belgium on the counter-attack. From Portugal's side, I think they need to try and overload in wide areas. Try and drag out the 2 wider centre-backs and try and get 2 against 1 against the wing-backs. Because I don't think Hazard and Lukaku out on that right-hand side want to go back and help out the wing-backs. So I think if you can try and double up in the wide positions, they might have some joy.
Guerreiro clipping it for Ronaldo Sanchez has made a really good run. Ronaldo's waiting for it in the middle. Axel Witsel came back, and so much of his work is done without the ball, and again he got himself in the perfect position to be able to deal with Ronaldo Sanchez foray forward.
That's the position I was talking about where Portugal need to get bodies. Ronaldo Sanchez down the channel, in behind the wing back, trying to pull out one of the centre halves. It's a good run, but he ran into traffic. That's, as I say, 3 or 4 times now he's lost possession of the ball.
Portugal in the first game against Hungary scored 3 in the last 6 minutes. Have scored in the final half hour of every game they played in the tournament so far. They found an equalising goal in the last half hour against France the other night. Goal that ultimately was enough for them to finish 3rd in the group and book this particular match. 3rd in the group this time, 3rd in the group last time. They just didn't do particularly well at the group stage of the last World Cup, where they only won 1 of the last 3. Found themselves eliminated in the round of 16 stage by Uruguay. Now they're going out the round of 16 stage as defending champions. So only one side has ever retained the Henri Delaunay Trophy. That was Spain, European champions in 2008, and won it again in the tournament that was held in Poland and Ukraine in 2012. Eden Hazard's got possession. Saw a brief glimpse on our monitors of another Portuguese centre, like Andre Silva is being readied, and he'll be on shortly, and that will be all attacking hands to the puck. All cards played by Fernando Santos. Good play by Lukaku with the ball into feet, less so by Torgan Hazard, who just chipped it into no man's land in the midfield where Palhinha can win it back for Portugal.
He was looking for Dries Mertens, who hasn't had the impact that Roberto Martinez would have wanted. They're really missing Kevin De Bruyne, that calmness, that ability to get on the ball, just hold play up, get them up the pitch.
And De Bruyne, if you're just joining us off in the early moments of the second half after what looked like an ankle injury, as Ronaldo Sanchez drills a low, tame effort some way wide and looks to the heavens, mutters a couple of expletives, frustrated with himself. And here's Andre Silva. and he's come on for the final 10 minutes of both games so far. A man who is the second highest scorer in the Bundesliga this season, behind Robert Lewandowski. And he'll be coming on very shortly.
It's like a free kick on Eden Hazard. Said he's had a lot more of the ball, Eden Hazard, having much more of an impact in the second half.
Well, talking about goals late in games, and Adrian earlier talking about Ronaldo's very impressive run, 109 goals that he's scored. Almost a third of them have come in the final 15 minutes of matches. Now Felix Brooks just got to try and calm things down here. Eden Hazard trying to get away from Bruno Fernandes, who stuck out a right foot and caught him. And he just found himself sandwiched between Bruno Fernandes and Polina, and then there was just a little bit of afters there between players of both sides just getting involved. Hazard down holding his right leg. He's okay, he's going to be able to continue. Just over 20 minutes to go. Already a fair bit of stoppage time is going to have to be prescribed at the end of this half. The referee's just having a word, calming things down between Lukaku and Pepe, both of whom were angry with each other in the situation. Hazard's okay, has a swig from his drinks bottle and empties the remainder of its contents over his face. And here's the change, Jota off, Andre Silva on. No surprise there, Jota he's had those couple of half chances that he couldn't make the most of, and hasn't really been able to make the kind of impression that he might have hoped to make.
No, do you know what, I think they're better than half chances. I think they're good chances for Diogo Jota. And he got himself into a really good position 5 minutes into the game and scuffed his shot well wide. And the other one actually was an even better chance in his second half when it sat up on the volley about 8 yards out, got too much on it and cleared the bar by about a yard. Two decent chances for someone of his ability.
Well, in the game now, second half, Portugal 6 shots to 1. And over the game as a whole, it's 14 shots to 5. But they've only had 2 on target of those 14. A lot of them have only been tepid half chances, really. Just 2 shots on target so far. They need to improve that strike ratio over the 20 minutes that remain. They need some inspiration. Cristiano Ronaldo, a man that has provided it so often, but they haven't been able to provide him with the chances to work his magic tonight and get that record-breaking goal. Here's Lukaku at the other end as Belgium working forward long from a goal kick very quickly. Lukaku flicking it on. Pepe back towards his goalkeeper Rui Patricio, and then Dalot's done really well just to turn and play out from the back. It's 1-0 to Belgium with 20 minutes to go.
Great turn of pace from Pepe, age 38. Still got that little bit of pace. I questioned actually the pace of the Belgian back three, the age of them and whether they're quick enough. But actually they've been so deep, there hasn't been that space for that ball over the top to Ronaldo. They tried it there just a moment ago, but it wasn't the space for it. It just ran out of play for a goal kick for Belgium because they've been so deep and maybe they've been under a bit of pressure, and they've invited actually Portugal, I think, onto them, not left any space in behind them because I think they're aware that they're not the quickest.
Yeah, Toby Alderweireld at 31 is very much the youngster in that Belgian three-man back line. 34 and 35 the other two. Long ball that is played for from the Belgians, knocked away by Portugal again in the midfield, but still inside their own half of the midfield. Polina to Renato Sanchez, Rafa Guerreiro. Polina again to Bruno Fernandes in the heart of the midfield. Bears repeating this since we came out of lockdown just over a year ago. His 85th game for club and country. Joao Felix has his legs swept away from him, and this is a free kick in prime Ronaldo territory. Yellow card for Vermaelen and a chance for Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, interesting position that Joao Felix is picking up. He's not staying out wide like Bernardo Silva did. He's drifting, he's playing more central, wants to get on the ball, wants to be the number 10, wants to be the playmaker. If that's the case, then Dalot has to get forward down the right-hand side. Last sort of 5-10 minutes I've been watching him, he's just been holding his position, whether that's a fitness issue, and he hasn't played any football or much football in this tournament so far, but he has to get out of the pitch if Joao Felix is going to come more central. Well, Ronaldo's spotted the ball, he's 30 yards out, but Bruno Fernandes, we know he's pretty good from this sort of distance as well. He's lining up. Will it be the power of Ronaldo or the curl of Bruno Fernandes?
Well, Ronaldo looks the overwhelming favourite.
And I think with the distance that it is, you'd probably expect it to be the power, wouldn't you?
Camera hones in on his green eyes as he surveys the ball, surveys Portugal's mini wall in front of the Belgian wall, and now he addresses it right-footed. It was a disappointing effort, a low one, straight into the contingent of players defending it, and then as it's played back in over the top, straight into the hands of Courtois.
Yeah, it wasn't a great free kick. Actually, it was plenty of power on it, almost knocked Dries Mertens off his feet, who made the block in the wall.
Here's Hazard. Can't find his little brother, and it goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Portuguese right-hand side. 17 minutes left of defence of the European Championships. I'm just seeing the replay again of Ronaldo's free kick. Ronaldo Sanchez did a good job defending it as well. It kind of sort of hit him and Mertens both at the same time, really. Pepe's going to be able to bring it away now for Portugal. He looks long as they try and get Andre Silva in and around Cristiano Ronaldo. Belgium able to win it back and flick very cleverly out towards Axel Witsel. Now, he's got options. Dries Mertens, the principal one, to his left. Good movement off the ball from Eden Hazard. Played into his feet now. Back for Witsel, and Hazard judged as he controlled it to have given a free kick away, and he's protesting his innocence in the most vehement manner. Bruno Fernandes is the player that he's judged to have caught. And he's just trodden on Bruno Fernandes' left foot as he got the ball away. Might just have been a little retribution for the one that went the other way 3 or 4 minutes ago.
Maybe. I'm not even sure he knew what he was doing. I'm not sure there was too much intent really there from Eden Hazard. I think he was just trying to jump out the way of his opposite number, but the referee thought otherwise.
Dalot. Back for Pepe. That just indicating that he needs to get forward much more readily. Diogo Dalot will try and do that now, but forced Torgan Hazard back, who's an able wing back, but he is a winger playing in that position, which is the way that Martinez tends to set his sides up. João Felix now into the feet on the edge of the area, looking for the return ball. Andre Silva trying to find it. Guerrero now for Ronaldo. Ronaldo clipping it in straight in the hands of Courtois. Now the protest will come from Portugal, as they felt there was a foul right on the edge of the box as the initial 1-2 was played, as Vertonghen slid in and maybe just caught João Felix.
I'm not sure what that was from Ronaldo either. It was a half attempt at goal, stroke across. Maybe he was trying to find Andre Silva at the far post, but it was, in the end, just looped harmlessly into the arms of Courtois.
Well, Belgium are 2/3 of the way from taking the lead to getting to the end of the game. The lead 1-0. Belgium's had a player down injured at the moment. The play will go on despite the fact that Lukaku's now holding his head. Now referee will stop it. Torgan Hazard had one possession back for Belgium, but the referee is blowing his whistle, and then Hazard has been clattered off the ball there long after the whistle had gone, and Pepe might be in serious trouble here. The reaction for the Belgian players suggests that they thought that was very naughty indeed. Yellow card shown. Well, the VAR may well have a look at that to see whether the on-field decision from the referee is correct. Lukaku was down hurt. The referee had blown his whistle 3 or 4 times, but still, as Torgan Hazard brought it forward, play continued. And then Pepe took matters into his own hands. Lukaku got caught painfully, innocuously on the back of the head. It was an accident. There was nothing innocuous about Pepe's follow-up on Torgan Hazard, though.
It was ridiculous from Pepe. I mean, that's worthy of VAR having a check as well, because he's put an elbow into the face of Torgan Hazard. It's 10-15 seconds after the whistle is blown. He knows that the free kick's going to be given and that the play's going to be stopped. He doesn't need to take it into his own hands, Pepe. It's absolutely ridiculous decision of his to try and stop him. And that's dangerous play. When you lift your arm up like that, you certainly run the risk of more severe punishment.
Well, Pepe's now got the temerity to complain that there's time wasting going on. This is a difficult one for Felix Brugge, the referee, this. He wouldn't be at all surprised if it didn't end with the full complement of personnel on the field. Lukaku got caught by the boot of Polina, but it just seemed to be an accident. He is okay. He's going to come off after receiving treatment before going back on. Polina has been taken off, and he's replaced by Danilo Pereira in the heart of the midfield. Renato Sanchez is off as well. I think it's Sergio Oliveira who has come on, indeed it is, to replace him. So Portugal have now made all 5 changes. Can make one more if they get an equaliser, get it into extra time. Ronaldo goes down very optimistically on the edge of the penalty area, and the referee, I think, has got that right. And Portugal have another opportunity much deeper. Lukaku's lent into Bruno Fernandes and given a free kick away. A free kick that will be taken by Portugal on halfway. And there are players losing their heads all over the place now.
Well, so much at stake. Last 16 European Championships. Belgium lead the way. Portugal trying to find a way back into it. It has become a really niggly, fiery, feisty game.
So with the exception of Cristiano Ronaldo, Fernando Santos has now taken off each of his front 6. There's Sergio Oliveira, Porto man, and came off the closing moments against France. He scored a career best 20 goals for Porto this season. Torgan Hazard with an attempted clearance. He sliced it so high up in the air. And it's come back down safely into the hands of Thibaut Courtois. 11 minutes to go. Belgium 1, Portugal 0. Torgan Hazard's brilliant goal near the end of the first half, the difference between the two teams. Belgium have just been sitting tight trying to protect the lead. Sergio Oliveira's gone down. Free kick given against Dries Mertens. And another chance for Portugal, not in a shooting position this time, but chance to load the box if they decide to, or get the bodies forward. It's a free kick about 15 yards inside Belgian territory. 1-0, 10 minutes to go. Matt Holland.
Dry smile on the face of Dries Mertens. I'll tell you what, it looked like a clean challenge to me in the middle of the pitch. Referee thought otherwise.
Bruno Fernandes firing it in, headed over the bar by Andre Silva. But still, a stack of chances being created by Portugal, but not of the requisite quality. And they're heading out unless they can find a moment of inspiration to take this into extra time. It's 1-0 Belgium with 10 to go.
There's a decent ball in actually from Bruno Fernandes for Andre Silva. Couldn't quite control his header. And they're pushing, as you say. He's made 5 substitutes now, Fernando Santos. He's done as much as he can, utilised his bench, trying to find a way of getting themselves back into it. He's got a target now of Andre Silva up top. Ronaldo around him as well. Crosses into the box, I think, are important.
Now Alderweireld going to get a yellow card because he has caught his man and then hooked the ball away, having done so. And he becomes the second Belgian to have his name taken tonight. Foul on João Felix was the initial infringement.
Well, he's played everywhere, João Felix. First half, he waxed lyrical about Kevin De Bruyne and his movement and how he wanted to get on the ball. And he's a youngster, but he's confident. He wants to make an impact. He wants to get on the ball and do some damage.
Here's Diogo Dalot trying to get inside the penalty area. Hazard, it's Torgan Hazard coming back to knock it out of play. And out for a corner, which is only the second corner of the game. Portugal have had them both. 2 of the Belgian 3 centre-halves now on yellow cards. Corner to be taken on the Portuguese right. Bruno Fernandes to take it. It's a right-footed away swing. Oh, what a save from Courtois. To give him credit, actually, it was pretty much straight down his throat. Good reactions from him. Didn't have to move either side to be able to beat it away. But it was a powerful header that came at it. Now Sergio Oliveira back for Pepe. Still forward from that set piece. Left-footed ball sent inside the penalty area. Good header away comes from Meunier. Back out for João Felix. Not the shot of a £114 million man. It sails away. There's Ruben Dias that had the header from the corner. Good movement, and he lost his man. Courtois grateful that he could just stick his hands up and he didn't have to move either side quickly, because it would have beaten him.
I think it would. A yard either side, and that was a goal. He got away from Thomas Vermaelen. Got a couple of yards away from him. Space was there. He met it nicely. Plenty of power on the header. Good height for Courtois and straight at him.
Danilo splitting the centre halves from his deep-lying midfield position, but that gives the opportunity for Ruben Dias and Pepe, where necessary, to make their way into Belgian territory. High ball swung in towards Cristiano Ronaldo. Shot comes back, hits the post, and Belgium will knock it away. All eyes on Ronaldo, who broke to the left-hand side of the penalty area, and the resulting shot cannoning back off the frame of the goal. And that's as close as Portugal have got to an equaliser. Belgium will take it straight back up the other end with Lukaku. Good quick feet from him. Foul by Sergio Oliveira. And it's a free kick to Belgium, but they have just had a very narrow escape.
Well, all credit really to Portugal. They've shown a real mentality to get themselves back into the game, a real desire and a hunger to keep themselves in this tournament. It's the left back, Rafael Guerreiro, who comes inside on his right foot, meets it sweetly on the volley. He's so unlucky. It crashes against the post. They're pushing really hard, but Belgium have a free kick at the opposite end.
Yeah, Guerreiro scored against Hungary, an own goal against Germany. He was almost back in credit there. Meanwhile, this free kick which Lukaku is going to take and blast towards goal and straight over the bar. Now to play for a goal kick that will be taken right to the left-hand side by Rui Patricio, and he'll get it forward quickly. So much talk about Ronaldo potentially breaking Ali Day, the Iranian international striker's all-time goal-scoring record today. It might yet happen. Andre Silva playing it down towards Ronaldo, who's found himself on the right wing now with Andre Silva through the middle. Ronaldo onto his left foot, shot that is stabbed away and put out a play by Vermaelen. Just wonder whether Romelu Lukaku, if Ronaldo does break the record, whether Lukaku will end up breaking it himself. When Ronaldo was the same age as Lukaku is now, he'd only scored 38. In comes the corner to attacking that near post area. And Ronaldo just couldn't get the kind of contact that he needed. There was another half chance, more than a half chance. Knows how to play for a throw. Taken quickly by Bruno Fernandes. Finding Sergio Oliveira. Back for Bruno Fernandes again on the Portuguese right. Swept inside the penalty area and half clear. Belgium beginning to hang on now with 5 minutes to go. Sergio Oliveira. Bruno Fernandes. Taken off his toes well by Torgan Hazard, who then drops his shoulder and gets past Pepe and can release Lukaku. Now he's faced up by Ruben Dias. But Ruben Dias is backpedaling and backpedaling some more, and Danilo did well, just stuck out a right foot, flicked the ball up onto Lukaku's leg, and that was enough to get it to safety. Only temporary safety as it turns out, because Belgium can then bring it forward again with Witsel. Meunier making his way forward. Witsel in towards Lukaku. He can't beat Pepe. Portugal turn over possession. Meunier now out of position, having forayed forward from right back. And João Felix will play down the left-hand side for Cristiano Ronaldo. Corner of the penalty area. Eases his way past the first challenge. Back for Sergio Oliveira. Something or nothing ball from him towards Diogo Dalot, but he's rescued it brilliantly. Sliding challenge. Got the better of Torgan Hazard. Pulls it back for Bruno Fernandes. Poor cross in from the Manchester United man, which Tielemans heads away. Witsel almost lost his balance inside the penalty area. Got back to his feet in time to get the ball away from Bruno Fernandes and then stop it going out of play for a corner. It's a throw. And I wonder whether Eden Hazard might have done his hamstring, because he's coming off and he's going to be replaced by Yannick Carrasco with 4 minutes of normal time remaining. Belgium 1, Portugal 0.
Well, if they do get through to the quarter-final, it could have come at a cost, Belgium. Kevin De Bruyne, injured, ankle problem. He went off early in the second half, and Hazard straight away, he signalled to the bench and said, my hamstring's gone. That could be two of their superstars out of a potential quarter-final meeting with Italy. Portugal are pushing really hard. We wondered whether they might fatigue. With Belgium having a couple of days extra to prepare for this game, were able to make a number of changes in their last group game as well. But they are finishing really strongly, Portugal.
But will it be strongly enough? Dalot with a long throw inside the penalty area. Down is headed away by Jan Vertonghen. Captain's armband now that Eden Hazard has gone off. Sergio Oliveira tries to turn it forward. Carrasco with the fresh legs, putting the pressure on Danilo. He will go all the way back to his goalkeeper, Rui Patricio. We've got 3 minutes of normal time to go. And it's Belgium 1, Portugal 0 on Talk Sport. Andre Silva giving chase to a good long through ball. He's got it right inside of the penalty area. Right-footed ball clipped in. Ronaldo was waiting, a vital defensive header. Mertens completing the clearance, got it away from Guerreiro. Kevin De Bruyne off injured, but kicking every ball. The camera panning to him in the corner of substitutes for Belgium. Back on his feet. High ball swept in now towards Ronaldo. Looping header. Andre Silva coming around the back. Just spilled away by Courtois for a moment, who was out bravely and got clattered on his left shoulder as he made the save from Andre Silva, but he stopped the loose ball squirming to a man in white inside the penalty area. And Belgium survive again. They've got 2 minutes to go. It's 1-0 to Martinez's man.
Well, that's brilliant goalkeeping from Courtois. Hasn't had loads to do in this game, but he was really brave. Ronaldo doing what he does so well, jumping early, winning the header, flicking it on towards Silva. He looked favourite to get there, but Courtois dived bravely at his feet, managed to make the save.
Ruben Dias looks long towards Dalot. Dalot has done well. He's brought it down on the edge of the penalty area. Tielemans just crowded him out, and then that was the calmest back heel flick you've ever seen. I mean, he was playing the law of averages, that there were so many Belgian players back, it would fall to one of them, but he couldn't guarantee it. Now Lukaku will bring it forward at the other end. Carrasco's his out ball. Carrasco towards the edge of the penalty area, trying to work it onto his right foot. Belgium looking for a second goal that will win it. Portugal with bodies back. Carrasco takes it down towards the dead ball line. And Portugal have done well to be able to bring it away. Bruno Fernandes certainly putting in a shift since coming on. Can't find a way past Meunier, but we've got inside 50 yards upfield there, and it's their ball as we go into the final minute.
Well, it's a glorious chance for Belgium to kill this game off. Lukaku did superbly to feed Carrasco, didn't have the pace to go on his left, so he came back on his right, came back into traffic. Portugal able to clear. They were doing absolutely everything to take this game into extra time.
1-0 Belgium on TalkSport. We're in the 90th minute. Sergio Oliveira. Dalot, looping header in from him. Big, early, audible shout from Thibaut Courtois, and he's come out and claimed it. And he's only moments away from having his 11th clean sheet in major tournaments, which would be some record. Is Cristiano Ronaldo going to be left frustrated? Is the defence of the European crown about to come to an end? Or does Cristiano Ronaldo have another moment of magic in him? We've talked extensively over the last fortnight about when he breaks the record, whether it will be a goal of real significance, whether it will be a tap-in, whether it will be a howitzer, whether it will be something that will always be remembered. Well, if he scores here, it will always be remembered now as we go into 5 added minutes. 1-0 Belgium.
Yeah, well, there's still time. 5 minutes left. He wouldn't put it past him to create a moment of history. Mertens controlling the ball on the right-hand touchline. Mane came on as a substitute for De Bruyne. Tielemans wanting too long in possessions, lost out to Pepe. Ronaldo just guides it round the corner here for Joao Felix. Joao Felix can't supply Ronaldo, but he can play in Bruno Fernandes. Tipped over the top for Andre Silva, and chests it down. Torgan Hazard's there to knock it away. Sergio Oliveira heads it out into space on the left-hand touchline. And Guerreiro's there first for Portugal. Just about to go into the second of the 5 additional minutes. Portugal camped around the edge of the Belgian penalty area. The Red Devils hanging on here. Sergio Oliveira, left-hand side of the box, fires it in. He was hoping to play it off out of Varel. Had to play for a corner. He delivered the cross as late as he could, but it's gone instead the other side of the line for a throw. Throw taken short for Joao Felix. The Atletico Madrid man working it through the midfield. It bounces onto the chest of Danilo. Ronaldo, little spin round the corner. Danilo again. He can't turn under pressure from Witsel, and Bruno Fernandes fires it way over the bar and out of play. And by the time the goal kick is taken, there'll only be 3 minutes left for Portugal to find an equaliser. Yeah, ambitious effort, wasn't it, from Bruno Fernandes? A long way out. Ended up way over the bar. Portugal now playing Pepe up top as well. They have thrown everything at Belgium in this second half. Not created too many chances. Have hit the post from Guerreiro. Jota had 2 really good chances as well to find the back of the net.
Well, no stage in this game, certainly after the 15-minute mark, would you look at it and say that Belgium have been the better side.
Resilient. They've been very resilient.
All that matters is who's in the quarterfinals. And it's nearly Belgium. They're going to make another change very shortly. Leander Dendoncker is a player who will come on. It will be their final change of the 90 minutes. They can bring on 3 if they want. It looks as though it's only going to be a single. Carrasco is one of those that's already arrived, trying to control it down by the corner flag that he's attacking. Throw taken quickly by Portugal. Sergio Oliveira helps them get it upfield, where it was 3 against 2 from us. A shocking touch in the midfield, and Portugal will be able to bring it forward. It was Torgan Hazard's mistake, and Diogo Dalot has got possession. Belgium have got more bodies back behind the ball, but they haven't got the ball back. Bruno Fernandes, left-footed ball clipped in by Joao Felix. Half cleared. Pepe still forward. Back it goes to Bruno Fernandes again. 2 minutes to go. 1-0 Belgium. Pepe on the left wing, trying to calm the referee and buy a free kick. Felix Brooks saw it for what it was. Belgium can work it forward, and Lukaku has done brilliantly, controlling it. The layoff not nearly as good as the first touch, and Portugal won it back. Sublime backheel flick from Bruno Fernandes. 90 seconds to go. 1-0 to Belgium. Guerrero. Bruno Fernandes has to deliver. Right for the ball swung in. Diving heading clearance gets it away. And now Belgium 2 against 2 as they try and exploit the counter-attack. It's Yannick Carrasco. And he's got options either side of him. Played in towards Tielemans, and Danilo did just enough to deflect the ball out of the path of the Belgian midfielder. And still Portugal live to fight another day. But they've got to get it right very, very quickly now. Joao Felix, Andre Silva, Joao Felix again, and Courtois watches it wide. No deflection, out of play for a goal kick, and that will just about be that.
Well, what a reaction from the Belgian centre-halves to what happened at the opposite end of the pitch. I just watched Alderweireld, Vermaelen and Vertonghen go absolutely mad at Youri Tielemans and Carrasco for messing it up on the edge of the box. Carrasco had a glorious chance to just play Tielemans in and finish the game off. Got it wrong. Danilo did superbly, but those 3 centre-halves, all of them, went running at those 2 players and said, what are you doing? We're 60 minutes away from a last quarter-final tie against Italy.
Or alternatively, keep the ball and take it down towards the corner flag. Do anything other than what they did. The change is made. Torgan Hazard, who was tiring, has been replaced by Dendoncker. And the 5 minutes are up, but there's still going to be at least another 30 seconds to play. Portugal try and bring it forward again. Joao Felix. Back towards Danilo. Danilo inside the centre circle. Portugal have surely got the score from this attack, if they're to keep their hopes alive. Pepe trying to head it in. Chested down by Meunier. Gets it forward right-footed towards halfway. Danilo will work it back, and that is that. And the defending champions are out. There is no record goal for Cristiano Ronaldo. There is no history-making retention of the trophy for Portugal. Instead, it's Belgium with a moment of magic just before half-time that have got themselves over the line. Torgan Hazard's goal, worthy of winning a game in which Belgium didn't really do an awful lot, but they frustrated Portugal, who contrived to miss the chances that they created for themselves. And it's another round of 16 elimination from a major tournament for Fernando Santos' men. They've only lost 6 of the last 62 competitive internationals, but those defeats come when it matters, and Ronaldo can't get that moment of inspiration to get his side over the line again, and he bows out of this European Championships with 5 goals without the all-time record-breaking 110th international goal. He leaves the field muttering to himself in dismay. The Belgians on their knees, exhausted, but in the quarterfinals. It's Belgium that will play Italy in Munich on Friday. Tonight, they've beaten Portugal by a goal to 0.